So, good afternoon or morning, whatever it is. I was born on November 3rd, 1969. And that was just a few days before Apollo 12 blasted off the face of the planet for destination Moon. On the Apollo 12, if the stories are true, and there is some question if it is or not, was the first human-made space art. It was a little ceramic tile about an inch in size, and it was called the Moon Museum. The brainchild of this project was artist Forrest Myers. And after months and probably even years of trying to get NASA to officially sanction the project to no avail, he did what all good artists do. He found a way to sneak it in. So on this Moon Museum were 6 small drawings by some of the best-known artists of the time. And Myers' own work was a computer-generated image of a linked symbol, and it was called interconnection. So from the very moment of my birth, technology and art were interacting in radically new ways. One of the artists on the Moon Museum was Andy Warhol. Andy is famous for saying making money is art, and work is art, but good business, that's the best art. A skilled social networker long before there was a social network, Warhol parlayed his fame into a worldwide global brand. The more I think about it, I think he did this because Andy offered us hope. Hope that we would all be famous, if only for 15 minutes. If you ever question whether artists actually understand the future or not, just consider all the selfies that will be uploaded to Facebook and Instagram and Twitter today alone. But let's go back about 1,000 or maybe a couple of thousand of years when human development was mostly local and linear. A grandmother and her even great-granddaughter could basically expect to live more or less the same life. Entire generations were lived in physical proximity to where they were born. But in my lifetime alone, look at what technology has done. From 1970, when technology was basically something that was just for academics, several of us now live almost a fully integrated digital life. We no longer live in a linear world. The world that we live in now is exponential and global. Peter Diamandis, the founder of Singularity University, has a great example I'd like to share with you this morning. He calls it the new Kodak moment. In 1996, Kodak had a market cap of $28 billion and 150,000 employees across the globe. Around this same time, they also turned down full development of the digital camera. In 2012, Kodak was bankrupt with less than 20,000 employees. And in that exact same year, Instagram, with only 13 employees, had a market cap of $1 billion. The world that we are living now is an exponential world. Entire industries like healthcare and manufacturing and finance, titans of those industries are being disrupted every single day by small startup companies. But what happens after disruption? What happens after all of these disruptive products themselves collapse and dematerialize into a single platform? Consider this. Google's fastest growing market in the world today is Africa. Also consider that in the year 2010, there was about 2 billion of us connected online, but by the year 2020, 5 billion people will be connected online. That is 3 billion new creators with the same access to the artificial intelligence that you and I have today. Democratization. So in an age where technology is becoming ubiquitous, when it's in the hands of everyone, perhaps the only differentiating factor is going to be how we use that technology. If you're a business today, you should be thinking creatively about the future. But very few CEOs will tell you that their organization is good at creativity. Business is a linear process, and creativity is not. This is where artists excel. The artist Mel Chin defines art as that catalytic force that allows new options to become visible. Art is made by artists, and the artistic process is an intuitive one that is guided by human motivation. Synthesize, visualize, create. In today's digitized world, I think it's possible that we have overlooked a radical new relationship between business and artist. There's always been a relationship, you know, at least in the latter part of the 20th century. Here's an example just, again, from my lifetime alone. I call it the gentrification loop. Business has been co-opting art for the last 50 years. This is nothing new. It goes something like this. It starts with a place, Lower East Side, East Village, New York City, 1970. Very few people wanted to be there around this time. However, artists flourished there, and great innovations were made across almost every artistic discipline. It became a hot scene, and money arrived. The AIDS epidemic hit, killing many of those original innovators. Gentrification of both place and ideas began to happen. More money arrived. Ideas got watered down even more. Assimilation politics, and today the Lower East Side, East Village would maybe scarcely be recognizable by some of those original innovators. They certainly wouldn't be able to live there today because it's so expensive. So you see, for better or for worse, the relationship between business and art has been a main construct of American urban development over the last part of the 20th century and the first part of the 21st. Artists innovate and business follows. This is nothing new. But in today's business climate, every industry and every city, like we've heard today, is talking about innovation. And one word in that conversation is always disruption. And you see, within the context of that conversation, this is a very good thing, disruption. And if we go back 50 more years from 1970, we'll see that this is something that artists are not new to. Marcel Duchamp's work, The Fountain, changed everything in art. In one work of art, Duchamp transformed artists from makers of things to thinkers who transformed things. The lesson here is this: if you redefine artist, then you change the work of art. Duchamp, using the artistic process, co-opted an entire industrial manufacturing industry and simultaneously disrupted artistic institutions that had been around for a very long time. He became that catalytic force that allowed new options to become visible. This is what artists do. And it is in this spirit that my partner and I founded Ideas, a chamber of commerce, artist-led, entrepreneur-focused, finding new ways to reinvigorate Louisville's creative economy. We create prototypes that help political, civic, and business leaders find new ways for artists to engage in moving our city forward and helping us succeed culturally, socially, and economically. One example of this is our partnership with Youth Build Louisville, a successful youth and workforce development organization here in town. We are helping Youth Build expand their capacity and creating more jobs with the new culinary program partnered with Chef Ed Lee, one of the more well-known chefs in the city of Louisville. We are incubating 3 young artists in a new company that is using art to teach science, technology, engineering, and math in traditionally underserved neighborhoods. We're partnering with the coding community and helping increase capacity in Louisville's sharing economy. When General Electric first built a microfactory and makerspace here in the city of Louisville, wanted to create a new line of products, we brought in artist Jakub Szczesny. Next week, week after next, the Louisville Table, a social appliance, will be launched. When a venture capital group was seeking customer discovery on a new product app that helps diabetes patients, live a more full and productive life. We brought in social media artist Man Bartlett. During this engagement, one of his discoveries opened up a brand new path for this company that may fundamentally change their business model for the better. And when the city of Louisville was seeking to grow one of its important workforce development initiatives for young people, we are pairing them with artist Corin Shodme, who starts with them next week to help grow this important program. And starting next week, Corin may be, well, one of the only artists engaged by municipal government in the United States of America as a business consultant. Technology creates big data, but by synthesizing data, artists create big harmony. The strongest suit of an artist is her ability to take complex issues and crystallize them in ways that expands our understanding and makes new options become visible. And when understood and managed, the artistic process offers business, political, and civic leaders an interdisciplinary, holistic approach to problem solving and to tapping current need and matching it to future markets. And as we are living in an exponential world, when it well may be that those who succeed in business are those who can accurately forecast how technology will be used in the hands of those billions of new people that it will come to rest in over the coming few years. This is where I believe artists and business have an untapped relationship. But to business, we also offer this. The artistic process can be managed, but it cannot be controlled. You see, the artistic process is itself an exponential process. And in this way, an artist operates like a forever startup, always seeking, always searching, always questioning, never satisfied. In this way, the artist is also a trickster. Democracy, yes, but the trickster demands that democracy be accompanied by a healthy dose of hungry freedom. Benjamin Franklin put it like this. He said, democracy is two wolves and a lamb voting what to have for lunch. But freedom is a well-armed lamb contesting the vote. We've heard many great presentations today. As an artist, as I was listening to them, I kept thinking to myself, is anything ever really truly sustainable? And the process of discovery is wonderful, but once you discover something, you've discovered it. Discovery can happen really only once. The only thing that is true, the only thing that is real, is that humans are dynamic by nature. Since my partner and I founded Ideas in 2013, we have found new ways for artists to work with corporate leaders in this city to make them even more dynamic. We have pioneered new ways for artists to work with communities and help them rise up in the 21st century economy. We're looking at development of new ways for artists to assist in workforce development and public safety. In the end, our success as an organization will be defined by how successful we have helped others. And every day, we are finding new ways. We are artists, but we are helping our city build a bridge to the future. So I think Andy Warhol was partially right, but only partially. I think making money can be art. Work is certainly art. But in the end, it is good artists who may well prove to be the best business. So if you're a business owner, you may want to think about hiring an artist today, because from my point of view, it just makes good sense. Thank you.